In the start, we see our protagonist is facing off with a very strong demon thinking that God is dead and humanity worshipped only gold and revered arcane engineering. Until finally, they turn themselves into slaves. Protagonist doesn't find it fair and charges to attack. When their weapons collide, a big explosion happens. But the protagonist loses. In reality, a boy was just playing the best modern apocalyptic game, Arcane Soul. Boy cursed the game saying that it's a garbage pay-to-win game. This boy is Kim Jong-soo, 22-year-old college student. He is very angry at the game because a free-to-play player like him can't enjoy the game. Inside the game, the player with which our protagonist was fighting tells him that he did pretty well as a free-to-play player and mentions that he was in auto mode all the time. He praises Jong-soo saying that he has never seen a free-to-play player do so well. Jong-soo is getting frustrated while playing the game. He angrily asks how is it fair that he loses to a whale even after spending 10k hours on the game? He concludes that this is not a game but a gambling with OP characters. He calls himself an idiot for wasting his time on a garbage game. He decides to do his dailies before going home and working on homework. He is about to use his free pull thinking that he will just get another warrior Kim. After doing the spin, he got a platinum chest. He gets shocked after finding an SSR, heavenly demon in the chest. The same character he lost to. He can't believe that he is a legendary character. The chances of getting this character on a free pull are 0.00006%. He is very happy after getting that and starts celebrating on the road. Now, he decides to raise his heavenly demon. He could level him up by farming. The fastest way to raise a character in Arcane Soul is to use the characters you've already raised in EXP. He uses all of his warrior Kims to raise his heavenly demon. While he was happy, he put his foot on the road to cross it. But the Truckkuin, a mythical character, is coming toward him. Jong-soo is familiar with this type of event. After that, he wakes up in the hospital. How Bro survived after getting hit by a mythical character, Truckkuin. He can't understand why he is in the hospital. He remembers that he got hit by a truck. Then a nurse lady came there who called him Warrior Kim. Never mind, Bro wasn't able to survive. After seeing that he is awake, she decides to call the doctor. Jong-soo, in confusion, can't understand why she is calling him Warrior Kim. When he checks his name in the form, it's actually written as Warrior Kim. He calls this a mistake and decides to move on. Jong-soo is feeling bad after dusting all his Warrior Kims as EXP for the Heavenly Demon. But becoming Warrior Kim, Jong-soo knows that it's not possible. Then he decides to go out, but when he puts his fractured foot down, he feels immense pain. Nurse lady comes running and tells him that he can't walk yet. Doctor is also here. He tells him that he got off quite lightly after getting hit by a Truckkuin. Doctor tells Jong-soo that they have to run some more tests. Jong-soo needs an MRI and a magical vision test. Jong-soo can't understand what they are talking about. Now it's time to calculate the hospital bill. Emergency room and facility fees and other test costs combined make up to 22 million KRW. Jong-soo is shocked because he just stayed in the hospital for 4 days and has to pay 22 million. She tells him that he doesn't have any insurance, so he has to cover it himself. Jong-soo asks her why he doesn't have insurance. Every Korean has national health insurance. She can't understand what he is talking about. She tells him that he doesn't have Legion insurance or magic insurance. Jong-soo wasn't able to understand but suddenly remembered that he had heard these terms somewhere before. He tries to remember where he heard these things. In the end, he remembers that the Legion, Megacorp, Magic Tower, Holy Tower are the 4 factions that dominate Seoul. It's the setting of Arcane Soul. In a world where God had abandoned humanity, arcane science developed drastically. The polluted earth is full of monsters, and humans modify their body in order to survive. To put it simply, it's a world that's hard to just survive in. And Jong-soo has entered this world. He was walking saying that he went to sleep happy because he got the Heavenly Demon, but he can't believe that he became a tutorial character. He concludes that this is divine punishment for dusting those Warrior Kims. He enters his room and mentions that this is even smaller than his previous room. Jong-soo sits on the bed and points out that his body isn't well, and he doesn't have any money. And if this is actually Arcane Soul, then soon, events like nuclear wars, dimensional rifts, or revival of the old gods will occur which will make this place a living hell. He He can't understand how he ended up here, but he knows that if he stays put he will die for sure. He suddenly gets up to check something. He takes the pin and pierces his hand with it. His hand automatically healed in an instant. System message pops up telling him that he has gained the trait Wound Recovery. The reason Jansu raised the countless warrior Kims is because it's a free tutorial character. It's the only character without a base trait. However, you can unlock traits and switch them out, so you can raise warrior Kims with more freedom than any other character. For someone like Jansu who relied on strategy, warrior Kims were better than higher party characters. That means, now that he's warrior Kim, he uses his powers to recover all the wounds he took until now. He mentions that he can get any trait he wants until he works for it. In this world, you die if you're poor or powerless, or if you run out of luck. But Jansu decides to live on without letting that happen. He hunts down many monsters. He has the knowledge from wasting 10,000 hours on Arcane Soul as a free to-play player. After hunting for so long, he reaches rank 9. After that, Kim goes to player personnel. There is a person who asks him if it's really his first time at their player personnel office. Kim answers with yes and tells him that he is planning on joining the mana purification business. He is doing this because he has to earn money first for a crappy gacha game like this. Since all he has is his body, this is the only thing he can do to earn big money. Man tells him that it may be called mana purification, but it really means dungeon clearing, and he asks if Kim knows the meaning of this. This guy is player personnel director Choi. Kim tells him that he knows what that means. Choi can't believe him because there's nothing on his resume. Kim thought to himself, of course I know how crappy the work is. Contaminated mana. The reason monsters took over Arcane Soul. Dungeon clearing, the act of cleaning up trash which emits large amounts of contaminated mana. Also, extended exposure to mana can cause death. One man who is exposed to mana for a long time, something is happening to him. He asks for help, but no one comes closer. He emits a beam of light and thorns appear on his body. This is mutation. Because of this, the work is extremely dangerous. Choi accepts him in the company and tells him that he will call Kim as soon as they get enough people. Choi asks him again to confirm if he really wants to work. He tells Kim that he has seen plenty of people like Kim who enter this work for the money and return completely empty on the inside. Kim with an evil smile tells him that he doesn't have to worry, because Kim is better than Choi. Kim thinks that working so hard as a free-to-play is his expertise. After that, Kim meets the team leader. Leader's name is Deer. He asks him if he is the one joining the team. Kim replies with yes and tells him that he just came here because he was assigned to this team. Deer grabs his collar and angrily asks him if he thinks this is a playground for him. He asks him the reason for so much confidence in his eyes. He warns Kim to not beg for rescue if he gets mutated. Deer tells him that he will kill Kim as soon as he spots a little sign of him becoming a mutant. Kim calmly replies that he will keep it in mind and thinks, trying to scare the newbie in, everything is the same in game and in real life. One thing that Kim can't understand is why there is the R-rank character, Deer here. This is what he looked like before awakening. His legs were normal too. Then a person comes running and tells Deer that there's no need to do this to a newbie, because they're already short on work personnel. This guy has 5 years of experience in dungeon cleaning. His name is Hedgehog. Deer was doing that to him because he thinks that Kim will just become a nuisance for them and will not be able to help them in any means. After that, they reach their first location. Deer tells everyone that they have exactly 4 days to clean up 5 contaminated locations. Seeing Deer, Kim realizes that he is a lot harsher here than in the game. Hedgehog asks Kim to not be bothered by the Deer. He might be rough on the outside, but he's a nice guy. They are standing outside the dungeon. A rotten smell is coming out of the dungeon. Deer asks everyone to be ready because he's about to open the door. Inside the dungeon, there are low-rank monsters, contaminated slimes. Kim sees them and thinks that the base of cleaning up contaminated mana and monsters, contaminated slime. Although they're weak in combat, the reason why they're difficult is due to the fact that they won't die until you find the little mana core somewhere in their body. People can't find the mana core inside the slimes. If this fight drags on, they'll be exposed to contaminated mana. Kim runs towards the slime to attack. He jumps while holding the shovel and pierces the slime with it. He successfully destroys its mana core. Kim decides to warm up by killing slimes. He runs at full speed and defeats many slimes in an instant. Deer and others can't believe what they're witnessing. When Kim was about to kill the big one, he thought about what happened 2 days ago. Kim is on the ground finding something. After crawling for long enough, he found a coin with 500 written on it. System message pops up telling that he has obtained a trait, Treasure Hunt. This is the most important trait for character Kim. Kim is dancing after finding 1 coin. Other people are getting bothered because of him. Before monster cleaning, Kim learned a few rules while gathering a few necessary traits. Now he is finding something in the trash dumpster. System window pops up telling that he has obtained the trait, Contamination Resistance. This one was the hardest to get. The first thing that he learned is obtaining traits work the same as the game as long as you satisfy certain conditions. Second thing is you can have a total of 6 traits. At this moment, his trait slots are full. He can switch between the traits he has earned whenever he wants. By activating a treasure hunt, he can find the weakness of his enemy. That's why he's able to easily defeat this many slimes. He defeated all the slimes. Boss slime splatters around everywhere after it got killed by Kim. Deer and team take cover to not get exposed. But Kim is fully covered with slime and says that his hard work is paying off. Nothing is happening to Kim because of his trait, Contaminated Mana. At the end of the day, Kim takes the bus to go home. He realizes that even with all the traits working all day is very hard. Hedgehog thanks him because they are going home early thanks to Kim. Hedgehog sits beside him and asks him if he wanted to awaken like Deer. Kim replies saying, "It's nothing like that. He just knows how to work a shovel thanks to his military experience." Suddenly, horns came out from the hedgehog's head. Kim sees them and thinks that his mutation symptoms are getting worse. Looks like he has been exposed to too much contaminated mana. Kim advises the hedgehog to get some rest tomorrow because he doesn't look well. Hedgehog is doing this to not face his debt collectors, so he decides to become mutant rather than facing his debt collectors. Kim now understands Hedgehog's reasons for doing this, because most people have this same reason for doing this job. For days later, they finally completed their work. Everyone is tired because of monster cleaning. Hedgehog's health is getting worse as he is getting exposed to more contaminated mana. Kim remembers telling the hedgehog to not push too much, but he never listens. Deer comes to Kim and tells him that he looks ready to go. Deer never thought that Kim would do his work properly, but Kim did better than anyone. Kim thanks Deer for praising him. Thanks to the new traits Kim earned while monster cleaning, this kind of work is now easy for him. Deer is holding perfectly because he's R rank. Hedgehog's health is getting worse. Deer runs towards him to check the situation. Hedgehog completely turns into a big mutant. Deer are on the ground unconscious. Kim has to defeat him if he wants to get out of here. Since all the new traits he has are specialized for monster cleaning, there's nothing that will help him in combat. Here Kim realizes that he's screwed. Mutant attacks Kim and sends him flying. He hits the ground and gets pretty injured. Kim realizes that the power difference between him and the mutant is too big. That's why he might die here. System message pops up and tells him that he has obtained a new trait, Endurance. Kim remembers that he has traits. He decides to not give up. To survive, he must think how he can defeat that mutant. First, he needs to delete some traits. Strength trait will be helpful for him for now. Mana Heart will help him control mana. And Endurance will reduce all damage he takes. Mana Absorption allows him to absorb mana, and Deep Respiration grants higher mana regeneration. Lastly, the final piece to the puzzle, Corruption Resistance. Now he has equipped all the best traits. The mutant ran to attack him. Kim activates Strength trait attack back, sending mutant flying. Kim smiles because his traits are working. Mutant spins and lands on the ground perfectly fine. Kim is confused about what is going on. Mutant spins toward Kim to attack. Kim gets little scratches thanks to his endurance trait, but it still hurts like hell. He has no choice but to keep attacking. If he stops, he'll die. Mutant is attacking back using its thorns. But Kim is not backing up. He decides to keep going. Mutant Thorn's attack is very strong. Thorns pierce Kim's body. One of his arms has been completely destroyed. Kim knew that he couldn't win with this character. Kim remembers playing Arcane Soul, when he used to enjoy playing with just Warrior Kim. When he was playing the game, everything was very easy. All he needed was a single click to hunt down monsters. I never thought about how the character would feel. He simply pushed the character into extremities under the pretext of efficient training. But now, he knows that it takes suffering to obtain a mediocre trait. Kim punches the mutant and sends it flying. He was able to do that because he is using a new trait, Mutant Muscle. The reason Kim went for Reckless Attack is for the trait that is obtainable when you reach the limit with Mana Heart and Strength traits. That trait is Mutant Muscle. He did everything until now to build up for this moment. Now he is easily able to fight back the mutant. Mutant uses a very powerful attack on Kim. It makes holes in the body of Kim. Kim obtained a new trait, Mutant Body. Kim thanks the mutant. Because of him, Kim has grown further. Now Kim and Mutant are fighting equally. Deer wakes, and what he sees is Kim and Mutant are fighting equally. Deer can't believe what he is seeing in front of him. Kim and Mutant Bot get pushed back. Kim on the ground thinks that it's not easy. His size has grown similar to Mutant, but at this rate, Kim will be at disadvantage. Mutant gets up roaring, but Kim is tired and thinks to himself that he has no choice. He deletes contamination resistance and believes in himself. Kim also turns into a mutant. He uses a very powerful blast. Deer get pushed back. Kim has become a stronger and bigger mutant than Hedgehog. Deer sees Kim and thinks that he has become a mutant while fighting against one. He wonders how is that possible. This is Kim's new trait, Mutant Warrior Kim. Deer decides to run away from there. Mutant Kim moves his hand to attack Deer, but suddenly Kim turns back into his human form. He falls on the ground and says that he did it. His trait of corruption resistance was the last line of defense. If someone is in the possession of mutant form and mutant muscles, and if you delete the corruption resistance, you will become a mutant. The common belief is that once you turn into a mutant, you cannot change back. But Kim knew otherwise. Kim needs to change the trait. He knew that he would be able to change the trait as long as he was able to think reasonably even a little bit. That's how he was able to switch out mutants for corruption resistance. After the fight, Kim is very tired. It felt like all of his bones and muscles were moving around. He doesn't ever want to go through that again. However, Kim got this blur orb as a reward after defeating Mutant. This is a level 1 mana core. That's why it was all worth it. Kim is celebrating after getting that core and concludes that it was all worth it. Deer and the other two wake up. Deer asks Kim if he is okay. They are confused because they never saw someone turning into a mutant and then turning back to human form. Kim realizes that it'll be annoying if there are any strange rumors about him. Kim tells them that he just gambled on being able to turn back. His luck works and he turns back to a human completely fine. Deer can't believe that it was luck. Kim gives him so many level 0 mana cores. He mentions that he wants to go back to get some fresh air. He assumes that they'll keep their mouths shut since Kim has saved their lives and even given them so many mana cores. Kim goes back to the office. Choi has already heard that Kim went through some hardships. He is talking to him very differently compared to when Kim first came to Choi. Kim wonders why Choi is talking so friendly. Choi tells Kim that he should have told them that he's a superhuman. They would have given Kim proper work instead of cleanup work. After hearing that, Kim explains that in Arcane Soul, a superhuman awakens an ability, allowing them to obtain powerful mana. In a world like this, where strength is power and authority, superhumans are basically nobles. Well, it makes sense that Choi would think that since you'd need to be a superhuman to defeat mutants. Although Kim was able to win thanks to his traits, Choi decides to pay Kim for his cleanup work. Kim decides to let Choi think that he is a superhuman because it would grant him more privileges. Kim has cleaned up 5 regions, and personnel offices take 20% fees from the total of 50 million won. If they divide that up to how many people were in the group, I would be giving you 5 million. But Choi decides to do it differently this time. Choi just deducts a 5% fee from Kim's pay and also decides to give him a bonus. This would make his pay 12 million won. Kim's jaw dropped to the ground after seeing this big amount of money. Bro is trying to make impressions like Lloyd from the greatest estate developer. After seeing this huge sum of money, Kim decides to stick to this work for longer. Now that Kim has all this money, he wonders how he would spend it. A man that was with Kim and his team tells Kim that he looks in a pretty good mood and asks if he has got paid a lot. Kim awkwardly replies that this happened because they worked hard to clean the dungeons. The reason that Man is here is because he wants to ask a favor from Kim. Kim immediately hides his money and asks what he wants. Man tells Kim that his wife is sick and that's why he's in dire need of some money for her treatment. So he was wondering if Kim could lend him some. Man also says sorry because they just met once at work. Kim doesn't know what to do now because he doesn't know him in this world. There is a chance that Kim might get betrayed at any moment. Because it's already hard enough for Kim to just support himself. The man lowers his head and asks for help. In the end, Kim takes his hand and decides to help him because he feels so bad to just ignore him. Kim gives him some level 0 mana cores. At night, we see that same man with an evil smile on his face. He calls Kim a dumbass because he just pretends to be a poor old man, and Kim gives him so many level 0 mana cores. Deer and other two from the team are also here. Deer wonder if Kim is new in this stuff. Man assumes that he would have gotten more if he said that his kids are sick too. Man found it annoying that Kim got paid more than them. They just got a little sum of money along with that fake superhuman part of their shares too. Deer knows that Kim is not a superhuman and decides to teach him a lesson. Man asks him if he has any ideas. Deer assumes that Kim must have some kind of strange ability. Since they already know his secret, they decide to teach him how scary the world can be. Next day, we see Kim in a luxurious apartment getting a massage. He never thought that he'd see the day when he could get a massage at a place like this. In-game is better than reality. When Massage Boy touches his arm, he feels a very bad pain. He mentions that he spent 3 whole days resting in this hotel, and his arm still hurts very badly. From now on, he'll have to think twice before using any mutant-related traits. Changing traits isn't as omnipotent as he thought. His body changes depending on the traits, and the severity of the side effects increases the more his body changes. The problem is where he can survive after limiting his trait usage. He looks outside and sees an Iron Fist gang. He guesses that they are still going around with that air of arrogance. He explains that Arcane Soul is dominated by local gangs rather than by law. It's only natural since there are too many monsters around, and people have to depend on superhumans. Kim did manage to survive the first bit. He says that it'd be foolish to only depend on traits in such a dangerous place. With an evil impression, he concludes that it's time to get some items. After that, we see Kim in Seoul Miscellaneous Store. A girl who works there asks him if he is here to sell some stuff. Kim tells her that he has some byproducts from monsters. Before hearing anything, the girl first mentions that she doesn't buy any level 0 mana cores. Kim tells her that he already knows this. Kim takes out the level 2 mana core and tells her that he wants to sell this. Water starts coming out from her mouth after seeing that. Kim felt good after seeing her surprised. He grinds for this level 2 mana core in the hotel room the whole night. He fused everything he had to get this mana core. Mana core price differs depending on the level, so level 2 mana core will be sold at a very high price. She bought it for 4.77 million won. After taking the money, Kim asks her if she sells any weapons or armor here. She replies with yes and decides to show Kim some weapons. Kim gets very surprised after seeing the armory. There are so many weapons like rifles and swords with many other things. All the basic items that Kim has used in the game are here. Kim concludes that it's time to gear up. Then we see Kim walking on the road with a bag full of rifles. A scared girl calls him from behind and asks him if he is a mercenary because she needs some help. Kim tells her that he is not a mercenary, so she should look for someone else. She takes out so much money from her bag and tells Kim that she is here on business, but the Iron Fist gang scares her. So she wants Kim to protect her on her way to her lodging. Kim sees the money and thinks that getting 500,000 for a bodyguard job feels like a daily quest. Kim decides to give it a try because he is all geared up. Kim puts his hand on her shoulder and tells her that he can't ignore a lady in danger. Girl thanked him. They both are walking in an empty alley. While walking, Kim wonders why she is staying in such a shady place. Because Kim has noticed that not even an ant is here. She takes a turn. That place is really dark. She tells him that they are almost there. Kim mentions that it's really dark, that's why he can't see anything here. Then a system window pops up telling that Kim has obtained a new trait, night vision. Now Kim can see everything clearly. And the first thing that he sees is that a girl is pointing a gun at him. Girl realizes that Kim is much more cautious than she expected. Kim has many questions in his mind, like who is that girl, why she is pointing a gun at him after appointing him as a bodyguard, and if this is a trap. When he looks behind, he sees Deer standing behind him. Other team members are also here. Kim asks them to tell him the reason for deserving this. Deer tells him that there is no reason. They are doing this because he just looked dumb. Before the Deer finished, Kim threw his bag, pushed aside the girl, and ran away. Deer orders the girl to shoot him. When a girl shoots the bullet at Kim, Kim got hit by a bullet and fell down. When Deer sees Kim, he tells the girl that she was supposed to hit his leg, not torso. She says that it's better than him getting away. Deer wonders if he is dead. Girl mentions that Kim returned to being human after turning into a mutant, so some mage would be willing to buy Kim's dead body. They would have gotten more money for capturing Kim alive. Man suggests that they should check his equipment and bag for now. Deer also agrees with him and decides to do that. But then he noticed that Kim had disappeared from there. They get very shocked. Something hit that old man from behind. Deer wonders if Kim is still alive. Kim himself replies saying that he can't die by a person who repays kindness with a betrayal. He survived because he exited the store after wearing the bulletproof vest. Thanks to that, he obtained the trait he needed. The trait that he obtained is called playing dead. Since Kim has broken the streetlight, they can't see anything. Kim appears behind the Deer and asks if he is looking for him. He decides to take Deer's life because he was the one who saved it in the first place. Deer get hit on the face. When the Deer tries to fight back, he gets one more hit on the face. Kim asks him if killing his savior is the right thing to do. Then the girl spots Kim and shoots at him. Kim gets hit and thinks that he was too careless. In Arcane Soul, the scariest thing isn't monsters or mutants, but people. Kim was too naive and trusted people too easily. He decides to not make the same mistake again. He takes out the gun and shoots at the girl. Then he shot the second one. Now everyone is down. Kim decides to kill Deer first to be safe. But the Deer appears behind him and lands a very powerful kick. Kim notices that the Deer's leg has transformed. This happened because the Deer had awakened as a superhuman. Kim wonders if he managed to awaken in that short period of time and calls this game a shitty game. He explains what superhuman awakening is. Since all playable characters are able to go through superhuman awakening, it's considered the basic growth system of this game. According to the world within Arcane Soul, a level 1 superhuman is strong enough to threaten an ordinary civilian holding an automatic rifle. In other words, Kim has to deal with a superhuman with nothing but his ordinary body. Deer disappear from there. He was able to do this because of his traits. Deer's traits are stereoscopic movement and kicking. Deer used stereoscopic movement to move freely in any direction. He used his movement to walk on the walk. He used his very powerful kick to attack Kim, but Kim was able to dodge it. Without wasting any time, the Deer goes for the second kick. But this time, Kim didn't dodge. He used an expandable baton to stop the Deer's kick. A few hours ago at the armory, Kim wonders if buying a gun would be worth it. Since Warrior Kim is a warrior class character, even if Kim were to grow stronger, there's a limit to how effectively he can wield a gun. Just in case, he bought a warrior class weapon too. Each character has weapons and traits that are more effective for their class. That's why in order to win against Deer, Kim needs to use a close-range weapon and traits fit for a warrior. Kim strikes down a Deer with his baton. And because of that, Kim has acquired a new trait, Strike. This is Kim's first-class specific trait. Kim uses many attacks, but Deer was barely able to dodge all of them. Deer was about to attack Kim with a very powerful kick. Kim can't dodge this now, so he decides to take the hit head-on even if it means breaking some bones. But he can't go back after coming this far. Kim keeps attacking Deer with his baton. He obtained a new trait combo. This is the best warrior class trait for early stages. He uses strike and combo traits together and attacks Deer again and again. In the end, Kim won the battle. Suddenly, a red aura starts coming out from Kim's body. He wonders what this is. His entire body is getting filled with pain. An explosion happens there. He wonders if today is going to be the day when he learns the cruel truth of Arcane Soul. Yellow aura has surrounded Kim's body. Now Kim has successfully awakened into a level 1 superhuman. He gets very happy and tries to make a face like Lloyd. He was rolling on the ground saying that not only he is going to get high-paying mercenary offers, he'll also get low-interest bank loans. Then a guy arrives behind him holding a literal bazooka in his hand. After seeing him, Kim realizes that this guy is Iron Fist Kim. He is the second basic character given in Arcane Soul after Warrior Kim, a character from the reinforced soldier class who uses firearms as their primary weapon, specializing in shooting using a prosthetic arm. The problem is that Iron Fist Kim is the feared boss of the Iron Fist gang of the underworld. Since Kim has fought within their territory, he must have seriously provoked them. Iron Fist asks him if he has checked where he is before he made this mess. Kim got a little scared. He answered saying that he was attacked so suddenly, and he couldn't just die. Iron Fist loads his gun and asks him if he is saying that those thugs were scarier than the Iron Fist gang. Seeing the gun, Kim realizes that if he fight in this condition, he'll die for nothing. Iron Fist points a gun at him and tells him that he has made a very wrong choice. He decides to show Kim what happens when he defiles their territory. Kim calms down and holds his gun, saying that he's not the type of guy to die so easily. Kim presses the trigger and shoots himself. Iron Fist couldn't believe that he just pulled the trigger on his own. After getting hit, Kim unlocked a new trait, regeneration. Seeing Kim healing like this, Iron Fist praises his ability. Kim smiles and thinks to himself that the upgraded version of the wound recovery trait, regeneration, it's a trait obtainable once you become a level 1 superhuman. It'll be over for Kim once they start looking down on him, so he'll go with the buff tactic. Kim points at the thugs that he took down and tells Iron Fist that he didn't survive out of luck. He tells Iron Fist that he doesn't care who he is. If he messes with Kim, he better brace himself. Iron Fist asks if Kim is his name and tells him that he liked his guts. Iron Fist decides to let him go, but in return, Kim owes him a debt now. He said to Kim, "You already know what that means." Kim tells him that he will remember this and wonders if Iron Fist has recognized him. Then Iron Fist advises him to work together on a job next time. Kim already knows that he isn't the type to betray someone and decides to shake hands. After that, at Jamsil Superhuman Tower, Kim is inside the tower. Seeing the beauty of the tower, he realizes that he had no idea how spectacular the tower is when he looked at it in-game. Kim looked around and said that it's completely different from his town. Then a girl welcomed him, saying, "Thank you for visiting the Superhuman Tower." She asks him politely about his work here. Kim blushed after seeing how beautiful this girl is. But she also seems familiar to Kim. He wonders if she is an NPC. Girl tells him that if he's here for a superhuman certification, he has to head to that machine in front of him to measure his mana and trait circuit. Kim thanks her and heads towards the machine, thinking that he didn't even ask for it, yet she still guided him. That's how rookie Kim looked like. Anyway, once he gets the superhuman certification, he gets to start a real life in Arcane Soul. Suddenly, everyone started looking at the ceiling, saying the Saintess is here. Kim doesn't know about the Saintess, but to Kim, it looked like just a single airship. A beam of yellow light hits the ground. Kim gets shocked seeing a familiar face. This person is none other than a boss monster, Old Father's face. Everyone is greeting this person as a Saintess. Kim thinks to himself that since he's still on the tutorial timeline, she's a Saintess instead of a boss monster. But as the story progresses, it is revealed that the Order was actually a cult disguised as a religion, and they begin attacking citizens indiscriminately. Some people think that the Saintess is here for mana measurement, and some think that she is here for a level renewal. When she goes to the machine, a huge amount of aura is released that pushes everyone back. After the measurement ended, it was revealed that Saintess is 27. Her class is a priest with level 8 mana and 6 layered circuit. The 6 layered circuit means she can hold up to 6 traits. I'm not completely sure for now. Anyway, everyone was shocked seeing her stats. Kim gets very scared, thinking that this isn't time to be cheering for that. Because a level 8 superhuman can be compared to an aircraft carrier squadron, a walking national level superpower. And a superhuman with such strength will wipe out Seoul in the future. But even Kim said that now, everyone will treat him like a madman and throw rocks at him. That's why Kim decides to think about it in the future, and for now just measure his mana. He realizes that it'd gather too much attention if a rookie like himself had 6 traits, so he lowers them to 3. Suddenly, Saintess looked at the Kim. Her guard asked her about the matter. She answered saying that there seems to be an uncommon individual. She suddenly appeared behind him and said, "You seem to have an intriguing ability." Kim gets very surprised and thinks about what this boss monster just said to him. Kim wondered if she sensed that he just switched his traits.